Welcome to Dating Mechanics, the show, where my guest and I tackle relationship issues that help singles get connected and couples stay connected. I'm your host, Alasha Bennett, the Dating Mechanic. Join me as I show you how to date with intention and purpose at any relationship stage. Hello, hello, hello. This is Alasha Bennett, the Dating Mechanic, relationship and dating coach. And tonight's show is all about answering your questions about relationships. So joining me today is Kelvin Troy Johnson. He is a fellow relationship coach. And we are going to answer the frequently asked questions that we get concerning relationships. So this is going to be a good one. You don't want to miss it because I'm always getting asked questions. And so I kind of pick the ones that are pressing at the moment, and we're going to dive in. But first, Kelvin.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself because we're going to get down tonight.
Nice. Alasha, thank you so much for having me. You guys, I'm excited to have the discussions with the dating mechanic in the building. We're going to get it in here tonight, but I'm glad to be here, you guys. I'm KTJ, Kelvin Troy Johnson, dating and relationship coach. I'm also known as the love coach of Atlanta, and I talk about dating, relationships, love. My background's in working with males. For 17 years, I heard all the secrets, the reasons, the suggestions, all the belly aching. I heard it all. And I bring all of that to the dating and relationship space when women kept asking me, what is wrong with this guy? You work with men? Tell me what's wrong with this one right here. And I started answering those questions, and boom, I'm here now making that happen and enjoying the show with the dating mechanic, Alasha Bennett, in the building.
Yes. So the funny thing about being a coach, right? Mm-hmm. What did you say to me earlier? There are 3 professions that will never, ever, ever go out of style. And what are they?
They are money, people who are in the money space, people who are in the health and fitness space, and people who are in the love space. People can never be rich enough, skinny enough, or have enough love. So
that is correct.
Yes. So the love business will never die.
Relationships are always being talked about daily. Yeah. You know, everybody wants to know why. Now, whether they listen to the advice that they're being given is another thing, right?
That's a whole different subject.
That's a whole different thing, but they are asking the questions. So now my first question to you is, can you turn a hoe into a housewife?
is that
we might as well get into it. These are questions that people are asking, so let's dive in.
Okay. Can you turn a hoe
I mean, housewife?
Alasha, if there wasn't anything easier or you want to go pow to the face. All right.
To the face.
All right.
And just know, if you're watching, you definitely can, put some questions in the comments and we'll answer those as well.
Yes. Can you turn a hoe into a housewife?
Yes. Is it possible?
Listen, I don't think that you can turn another person into anything. Right? The only person that can change a person is the person.
Okay.
So unless the person wants to change into a housewife, then if they're not trying to do that, then it's not going to happen. Can the person turn themselves? Can the hoe turn herself into a housewife?
Or himself? Wait a minute now.
Or himself. Can a hoe turn himself into a husband?
Yeah.
It is possible, but he has to be ready for what that means. He has to understand what it really means to be a husband, right? Because there's a different life between a hoe and a husband. And, there's different expectations and reality is different. So it's possible, but the person has to decide, boom, that's what I'm doing.
I'm done with it. I'm done with that life.
I'm done with them streets.
Yeah. The thing about this question is, can you turn a hoe into a housewife, or can you turn a hoe into a husband, right? A good husband. Yes, I like the fact that you said that they have to want to do it. And I think a lot of times we want things for people that they don't want for themselves. And so we see things in them. However, that's not something that they're thinking of or wanting to do, or that's not their path, or they're just not ready. And we push them too fast, and we end up being hurt by those things.
True.
When we do that. So we should just accept people for who they are, where they are, when they are, right? And go from there.
Absolutely.
Right? If you can deal, I always tell, singles, if you can deal with that person not ever changing that thing again, can you live like that for 30 years? If they never changed a thing about themselves, would you still want to be with them?
That's good.
And if you say, oh yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me, if they stayed the same, and growth is inevitable. We should all want to grow. But if they didn't, and they just stayed the same, just the way that they are, would you accept them for who they are? And if you can do that, then that's the person that you should be with.
Yeah.
Because I get that question all the time. How do I know which one? How I know if they're the one? Right? That's part of it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So we can go back and forth if you like. If you have questions, I got a whole look. I got wonderful stickies there. Listen,
let's get them.
And still got some on the inbox, right? Okay, so let's go quick then. Why do people cheat?
Why do people cheat? People cheat because they are dissatisfied. They are dissatisfied with whatever it is in their lives. It could be their partner or it could be themselves. Okay. Right? I heard a case just today. A young lady, she was really excited about being married, and finally she waited all this time. Finally, she had this guy. They've been, on and off, and they decided to make a go at it. And she let me know there's trouble in paradise. She said it got me. They got me them dudes. They got me again. So apparently, like, it's not going well. And
somebody slipped and fell.
Yes, somebody slipped and fell.
Somebody tripped.
Look! I didn't even hear the whole story yet, but I could tell, and so there's a lot that goes into it. So, yeah.
So people cheat because they are, they have some type of issue with themselves, not necessarily with the person. Right?
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They do have a problem with the person.
Okay.
And themselves a lot of times, right? Okay. So the person, there's something, and I hate to say it this way, but Alasha, I just gotta say it this way.
Just say it.
There's something they're not getting. There's something they're not receiving. I mean, now the person that they're with could be swinging off the walls, like they could be, doing backflips in the bedroom. They could be cooking up like chef on TV chef. Like, you know what I mean? And even creating a beautiful environment for them to come home, make them feel like they're in the Shangri-La, right? Yeah. But a person can still have more needs. And all the things that you think that you are satisfying may not actually be what the person needs. So
until that person figures out and finds out what is it that they need, there's always going to be a void there.
Yeah. So that's no. So what I just talked about was them being unsettled with the person that they're with.
Okay.
But ultimately, it's the person who is in need of something, so that person goes and finds it elsewhere. So it ultimately is not even on the person that they're with. It's really about that person deciding that they need something more. So until they get that all settled, it's going to be a hard road.
Absolutely. I agree. Is cheating an honesty issue? Um, I think cheating is an integrity issue. Um, it's a character issue, right? If you have someone that whatever the problem is in the relationship, you should be able to communicate to that partner, and say what needs to be said in order to fix the issue. So I think a lot of times it's integrity, it's a character issue, it's a flaw, right?
Yeah.
And I tell singles, because someone cheats on you, don't put that action on yourselves. It could be that you were denying them sex. It could be that you were, right? But if there is no communication about what's happening within that relationship, and the person just goes off and does whatever they want to do, that falls on that action falls on that person.
Yeah, yeah. I think you hit it on the head when you said it is a communication issue, because the communication happens or doesn't happen before the act happens or doesn't happen. You understand? So the problem is, now go at me on this, Alasha.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is not necessarily that the person wants somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The problem is they didn't feel comfortable enough having the conversation with the person that they're with about this desire that they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a breakdown in communication, where a person goes and starts communicating with somebody else.
We have a follow-up. What if they do not feel that the space allows for honesty? That happens a lot. When people are not, they're not being authentic, right? So when people are not comfortable with themselves, they're not able to say what they need to say. And sometimes it is an atmosphere where the other party doesn't make the space comfortable or open enough for you to say. There's always a fight. It's always a debate. It's always it's never a time of, okay, I hear you, right? So like you said, that whole communication piece, right?
Yeah.
It's like if there's no way that we can communicate in a positive way, in an effective way, is going to affect the way that we deal with one another.
Yeah,
Right?
and
It could be hiding things. It could be, because they don't want the judgment, or they don't want the fighting, or what comes with that.
Yeah, for some people, and for the brother that asked the question, there's some women who, like, that's the end of the conversation. No, period. That, and that's all there's going to be said about that.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, on the other side of this, somebody once told me that women move by emotion, right? And if you can make a woman feel secure and feel comfortable with an idea, there some women will be okay about almost anything that comes in with relationship. I don't I'm not saying that these are technically all my words, but I'm just saying these are things that have presented. And so, sometimes they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
I say it's what you say and how you say it. That's just my philosophy on that. Sabrina says, does cheating have anything to do with your partner? I think we covered that. And I think the basis of that is actually the person that's doing the cheating. What is it that they're not getting? How come they don't feel fulfilled with the partner that they're with, right? And that's really, I have another question here. Is cheating worth breaking up over, right? Which goes in line with that. Like, how do you feel about that? Is cheating worth breaking up over?
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's if that person who was in need of something, was seeking something outside the relationship, sometimes what it is that they were seeking is something that they actually need.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the person that was in that relationship, again, I'm not blaming the victim,
Mm-hmm.
but we're talking about the what's going on with the person. Sometimes they what they needed is not what where they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they need to push on and go see and find out what that thing is that they needed. Also, but on the other hand, sometimes a person can make that mistake and realize, wait a minute, this thing that I tasted out here is not worth ruining all of this beautiful buffet I got over here.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
But
and,
there's still something, there was still something missing. So I just want to say that a lot of people think that people cheat for the sex. That's a misconception, right? They're missing something, but it doesn't have to, they, like you said, they can be getting all of the sex that they could possibly handle, right? There's something else missing. So there's the communication piece that's not there. There may be an insecurity that's there. There's something else that's fueling them to go into the arms of someone else, to feel comforted.
Yeah, it's how you're making them feel, or whatever, how they feel in the relationship.
How they feel, right? How
Yeah.
they're choosing to feel. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's some good ones here. Can you have female friends and vice versa?
Can men
have female friends, and can women have male friends
in
a
a
relationship?
in relationships?
Mm-hmm.
I think they can.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be a slippery slope.
Okay.
I think you can have female friends, but the female friends need to know that you're in a relationship and be able to respect that. A woman having male friends, yes, same thing. He needs to be able to respect that. That doesn't mean that he won't find you attractive. That doesn't mean that he won't like you, want you. I've seen some brothers hold out. I mean, like they like Joey and them on Friends, right? They hang out with the girls and pal around with the girls, but they really want to smash, right? They really want to hook up.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So they play this
time, right?
They play this friendship buddy role. But if given the opportunity, if the door ever opened, they would be right on it, right in it, and making it happen. So
yeah, I think you have to be very careful where that's concerned. I think everybody needs to be on an up and up, even if it's, hey, I feel attracted to, so and so. You need to have that conversation. I'll tell you this: when I got married, I actually got rid of a friendship because I knew that if any disagreements is inevitable, right? You're in a relationship, you're going to have disagreements, you're married to this person, right? And I knew that I would run to that person, and that person would be my comforter, and that I was attracted to that person. And so I said, I'm not even going to put myself in that position later on, right? and allow that to be a problem within my marriage. So I actually, ended my friendship with that person for the safety of my marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because my ex-husband, we went out, he had me meet his girlfriends. He had girlfriends, and he was like, I want you to meet my friends. And I'm like, sure. Like that wasn't a big deal to me. They've been your friends for 10 years. I'm
Mhm.
just going to come in and be like, well, you can't be friends with them anymore. Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I met his friends, lovely people, right? All of that. And then I mentioned to him, I was like, it was a funny thing to me, but it was serious to him. And I was like, oh, that, they like you, like they're attracted to you, like they actually like you. And he's like, what? Like he was oblivious to that whole thing. And I'm like, come on, you can't have known them for 10 years and not know that they like you, in that way. And he was like, I had no idea. So I'm like, well, whatever. You don't like them. So it doesn't, you're here with me. You don't like them. So that I'm not that insecure type of person, right?
Yeah.
But he goes and he tells them, like he asked them, did they like him?
Mhm.
And they're like, well, yeah, but you're always with someone and you're all, you know what I mean? Like that, like you've always had someone, or I've always had someone. And, and he wound up stop being friends with them. Now, I didn't tell him to do that.
Mhm.
That was on him, but he felt like that's what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? When you feel that little nudge that this is something you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to cut it.
Yeah.
I've definitely have cut some relationships loose, just because of history, because of what could potentially happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then especially once it crosses the border into your relationship and your mates, like, what's with this? And now you got to have a conversation. The
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
men do not want to have, right, is a conversation. So you know what? How about we just cut this short and we have one less conversation? Okay.
So we don't have to have this conversation or revisit it, right?
Right.
Why do people ghost others?
Why do people ghost others?
Mm-hmm.
You go first.
Okay. So I tell singles all the time, right? Because I make this post every so often about ghosting and about I have a book called 7 Key Questions to Ask on the First Date. And in that book, I show people how to disconnect from people that they've been talking to. Because to ghost someone leaves someone without any closure, right? So earlier I was talking to somebody about closure, and it's easier just to give someone that closure instead of leaving them high and dry, right? So closure has more to do with that person than if you want closure. It's okay. Closure is okay. Yes, closure is okay. But you don't need closure from that person. However, if you can give someone closure, do that. Just do it, because it'll allow them to be a better person. So say for instance, you're not dating that person because they don't want children, right? And you want children, right? Instead of ghosting them, just say, hey, I don't think we're a match. I don't think we're a fit because you want children. I don't want children, or vice versa, or whatever. And, I want you to be able to find somebody that can be the person that you want them to be, find a person that's right for you. But I wish you the best, right? And let that person know this is the reason why I'm ghosting, even or not, wanting to spend any more time with you, even if it's your breath stink or you want, whatever it is. People are afraid to have those conversations.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is that's why we lack those communication skills, because we're not willing to have those hard conversations. You're not going to see that person ever again or communicate with that person ever again. You can give them that, right?
Okay.
So that they can move on. Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna push back against that a little bit.
Okay.
So one of the reasons people ghost is because it's easier.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in their minds, it's less painful for me to just stop calling you than to tell you your breath stinks. Now I gotta be in my head. Now I gotta be in my head about hurting your feelings.
Yeah.
And speaking from the male perspective, right? The last thing a man wants to do is hurt a woman's feelings,
Mhm.
right? Especially if they like cared about them at all, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, it's actually easier in the guy's mind to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna be over here.
We said we don't need. Don't say anything. We don't need to talk. Just shh.
Right now, the other thing is that you got to it avoids that thing that we don't want to have to do is talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say, you know what, I want to break up with you. You know what, I'm gonna just be honest. Your breath, it just doesn't. It's just too much for me. That breath,
I can't do it.
That halitosis is just hollering, and I can't. You know, your breath smell like bad feet, and I can't. I just can't take it. I can't kiss you. I can't talk to you. You know. So let's say he does all that.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to say? You're not going to be like, you know what? Thank you very much. I will make my doctor's appointment in the morning, and I will see the dentist, and we'll find out why my breath smells so bad.
And ta-ta.
Right? No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be like, what? No, that's not the reason. You don't want to commit. You are this, that. You need to be a man. You need to man up.
Now, whether or not they accept it, that's not on you.
Yeah.
Their acceptance of that is not on you. But if you're able, because, and this is the way I look at it, nobody's telling them. Nobody's saying anything to them. How are you? And I'm going off of the, you know, we're a village type of mindset. We're supposed to help one another out, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you are not helping the next person be better, what is the whole point of the interaction?
Yeah.
Right? I think we have to learn how to do that better.
Hold on, Alasha. People don't want to be better, and they don't want to be told by you, who's trying to break up with them, that you breaking up with them because of their halitosis. Like that it is they're not going for that. They said no. You're just using this as a cover because you don't want to commit. You up here wasting my time, and you said you did this, but you said you wanted this, and I'm all this, and now you still not happy. So now he got to defend his positioning, and he's got to go back and forth. You got to deal with this anger. She ready to come over your house. She ready to call her cousins Peanut and Ray to come bust your door in.
But she gonna be stalking you anyway. If that's her personality, when you ghost her, she is going to stalk you.
Well, maybe.
If that's her personality.
Maybe.
She'll do that anyway.
But it's easy. But it's easier. Now here's another thing.
It is easier.
Here's another thing, Alasha.
Mm-hmm.
If you ghost them, you can go and see other people, and then you can reach back out and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Where you been?" Right?
I don't know, because some people don't take that well.
They give you the shoot you that message, the WID. Right? Out of the clear blue sky.
And then you get that text back, who this? Right? And your name at the top, but they talking about some who this?
Right. Like you ain't know who it was.
Like you ain't know who it was.
So the idea is not to close the door all the way, because if you do, you can't open it up again. That's why people ghost.
Well, they need to get their life. They need to get their life together, right? Let's see. We had some questions in the inbox.
Okay, jump in the inbox.
What we got here? We did have one earlier that was sent to me. Why do women waste men's valuable time and efforts, especially when a man makes his intentions be known from the rip? He's made his intentions known from the rip.
Made his intentions known.
And she's just wasting his time and efforts.
How does he know that she's wasting his time and efforts. Maybe this is just where she is. Look, sometimes people think there's more happening than there really is. People think that you're in a relationship with somebody when the person never agreed to be in a relationship with you. So essentially you're in a relationship by yourself and you're mad because they are not in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
So first of all, you got to get clear. Do you have a relationship? Are you actually in a relationship?
Yeah.
No, because nobody's wasting your time if they never agreed to sign up for this thing. Okay?
That's the part.
If they never agreed in the first place,
right?
Then what are we doing? So start with square one. Are you together? Are you a couple? Are you an item? Check yes or no.
No. Get that out the way first.
Okay. And then you can now if the person signed up for this thing to be in a committed relationship exclusively only with you, then now if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, now you could talk about wasting time and all of this sort of thing. And if they're wasting their time, if somebody is wasting your time, whose fault is it? Is it their fault or is it your fault?
Well,
nobody can make you do anything. You may be mad. No, they didn't. You made yourself mad.
Correct.
Nobody can make you be in a relationship. Nobody can waste your time without your assistance,
without your permission. Right. So that whole thing about wasting time, like daters say that all the time. I'm out here, I don't want to be wasting my time. Right? Going out with all of these people. But how is it wasting your time if your intention is to learn something from the experience? So what is your intention? So you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
Right? You are supposed to be learning from all of the experiences that you're having. So if you go on 3 dates and you're noticing that these men only they only want sex, or they only want to spend time with you, but they don't want to go further, or how are you fielding these people? Right? Where are you getting them from?
Yeah.
How are you fielding them, right? What questions are you asking them that allows you to say, okay, yeah, this is a good match for me. I want to try this out. Right? So that's my whole thing. And daters say this all the time. That's just a waste of my time. I'm not doing that. Well, how do you get to what you want if you don't take the initiative?
Right.
To me, it's not wasting time. But
no. Especially, I like what you just said. In that dating is supposed to be collecting data.
Yes.
and once you have enough data, you go on the next date. You get enough data, you go on the next date, or you decide, wait a minute, the data shows that boom, this person is not who I'm supposed to be with. I cannot build a future with this person.
Say it louder.
Okay.
They're not getting it.
So after every interaction, you are receiving data. Now you can ignore all the data and just keep going. But if you ignore the data, you get what you get.
You get what you get. Yeah, I agree. People do not see the value in the process. So I call date, DATE, is dating. What do I call it? My mind just went blank. Determine additional time and engagement. Right.
Okay.
That's date to me. Okay. Right. You should be, like you said, with each date. What are you not looking at that you need to look at? Right. Start evaluating those dates. I have an evaluation checklist. After you go on this date, are you spiritually aligned? Are you, what is the communication like? With it, you having all of these different check boxes to see, okay, should I go on another date with this person? Does this person match? Are you asking the right questions, right? Because if you're not asking the right questions, you're not going to be able to check off those boxes. So being in a position where you're dating with intention. You can there's different reasons why you can be dating for fun. You can be dating, because you're looking for someone permanently. You can be dating because for whatever reason you're dating,
right?
Have some intention behind it.
Intention.
And be very clear about what you're trying to do, right?
Absolutely.
You said, but I can make it work. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Try
no,
that.
You're gonna find yourself in a world of hurt if you trying to just, make it work.
Make it
right.
work.
Yeah, no. And then they're gonna be telling us, singing that same old song in our inbox about how it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. You'd be like, well, what was the problem? Well, they wanted kids and I don't want no kids. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That was date conversation number 1.
Right.
Data sheet number 1.
They smoke and I don't smoke. But you knew that going in. You met them at the bar, or you met,
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to make things work that are not going to work, right? How do you feel about double standards?
In what?
In dating, in relationships.
As I need an example.
Oh, you need an example of double standards.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, there's so many.
Maybe what? Double standard. Why? How come men aren't punished for bad behavior in dating the way that women are?
That could be it. Or how a man, he can sleep with anybody and that makes him more manly. But if a woman sleeps around, she's instantly a hoe, right?
How do I feel? How do I feel about them?
Just double standards in general. How do you feel about double standards in relationships?
Well, sometimes they have their place. Sometimes they have there's a reason for things being the way they are. There and listen, and nobody gets it all on their side. Like, it's not like it's all positive for this side and all negative for this side. Right? Either way, both sides can have double standards go in their favor. And when it's not, look, when it's in the other person's favor, no, listen, when it's in your favor, you don't complain about it.
Nope.
Right?
No.
Look, Alasha, I have yet to hear anybody complain that they had to take their daughter down. They don't get to take their daughter down to the when she turned 18 to register for the draft. Right?
Okay.
I haven't heard one person say, you know what, this is just not right. My daughter, not just my son,
should be able to sign up for the draft.
not be able to. It should be mandatory, just right. Like mandatory for my son, right? Who's marching down for that to have that conversation? Nobody. That's
nobody.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a double standard, right? Yeah. But we live with them. Yeah.
I think that it's time now to start talking about these double standards and being able to be quote unquote fair, right? Because some of these double standards is like, come on, right? Between men and women, it's out of hand, because I think it goes into expectation and feeling entitled, right? And I think more and more, I think as these subjects and these topics come up, we should be able to look at it for what it is, and then say, okay, maybe I need to think a little bit differently on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is in my favor, but is it fair?
But when it's in your favor,
it's in my favor, but is it fair?
You don't care if it's fair or not. When it's in your favor, you just want it. You just want to keep going in your favor.
I get it. I get it. But but the other question was, why is there a divide between men and women? And that's one of the reasons why there's a divide, because there's so many double standards going on. It's hard. It's hard to keep up, but it's hard to. It's always a war. It's a battle of the sexes. It's always a war of who's right and who's wrong, and you know, it's tiring.
Yeah, we're different, and you know, sometimes we can celebrate that, sometimes we got to fight over it.
I don't know. I'm tired of the fight.
Yeah,
I'm tired of the fight. Why can't we recognize that there are differences, accept those differences, and live within them?
Yeah. Because we can't accept differences. We have to fight.
And we're going to fight about this.
Yes. We can't accept those differences. We got to fight.
We got to fight about it. But that's interesting. We have, even if you think of in the Christian sense of it, that battle of the sexes, right? Because Eve is the one that gave the apple, right? So it's always been a blame game. Yeah, but Adam should have known better. And you know, it's like from the beginning, it's like, why are we not saying, okay, you played your part, I played my part. But see, how can we fix it, or how can we be better from it?
See, that's what they call accountability. And accountability means you have to voluntarily say, I messed up.
Yeah.
And I'm taking full responsibility for what I did.
Yeah.
Now, but that grates against your ego. You know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to be seen as being wrong.
But what's so funny is, how do they know Eve didn't apologize? How did they know that Adam wasn't like, yeah, you know what, I should have. Right?
Yeah. Well, we know that because he said, look,
at first,
this is yours.
Right,
you
right.
Gave her to me. It's not my fault. You should have gave me somebody better. We wouldn't be in this problem.
You did this to me.
Right. Essentially, that's what he said. You did this to me.
You did.
So it's not my fault. It's actually your fault.
Right. So that accountability piece, right? You did this to me.
Yeah.
You brought me this woman, right?
Right.
I get this a lot. How do I not lose myself in a relationship? That's a big one.
How do I not lose myself in a relationship?
How do I not lose myself?
One of the things is that you have to get established in who you are. Are you getting the feedback from me? You hearing a little bit of feedback? Okay. Like you got to get established with who you are from the beginning. You know, because listen, we know the two become one, right? And sometimes one will smother out the other. One person has a strong personality, the other person has a more humble, submissive personality, and you could get smothered, right?
Yeah.
But when you feel that you're it's going in that direction, you have to speak up and speak for yourself, right? So this comes back to self-awareness, right? So you had to figure out what is it that actually makes you happy. What actually makes you happy? What brings you joy to your heart, to your life? And trust me, the person you're with wants nothing more than you to be joyful. Because if you're miserable, you're gonna make them miserable, right?
That's the part.
So it's got to start with self reflection, and you just kind of having that talk with yourself, understanding who you are and what gives you that joy and that fulfillment outside of the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. If you get smothered in the relationship, guess whose fault it is? Guess whose fault it is? It can only be yours, because you allow whatever it is that happens to happen.
Yeah, we
You
have to
allow it.
take responsibility for what's happening in our lives. I will say, as a mother, a lot of times this is what I'll hear from women, that they're feeling like they're losing themselves. They're losing their identity, who they are, right? Um, because they've put themselves aside, and they're focusing on the family. They're focusing on, their husband. They're focusing on being a good wife, right? And they're not doing the things for themselves that they need to do. And so they feel like they're running for everyone else, and they don't have that time. They're not giving themselves that time, and they don't know where they're going to find that time, right? Because life is happening all around them, and it just keeps happening, and they can't stop, right? I think even though it is ultimately our responsibility, I think a partner can help in that as well. Giving you that space to have that time to yourself, and actually saying, hey, did you take 5 minutes for yourself? Or, what did you do this week that uplifted you, or that
equals self-care.
right, that allowed you to fill your cup up, to you know what I mean, so that you'll be able to pour into the family, your job, your friends, your all of those things, right? And even though it's not their responsibility, it's nice to have that person that says, hey, what do you need from me?
Yes.
Simple as that. What do you need from me?
Yeah.
Man, I really need some space. I really need you to take care of this so that I can do some things for myself. Right.
Alasha, I don't want to brush past that, right?
Okay.
Because what you just said, I feel like is a major key that answers that question. A person can't help you with your needs if they don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So just if there's somebody, put that in your vocabulary. What is it that you need this week? What can I do for you this week? What can I do to bring balance to your life?
Yeah.
I think that's key. I think that's key.
And I think that's a big part of intimacy. If you can be connected with your partner in that way, but you have to really want it. You have to really mean it, right? You can't be all as a routine. All right, what do you need from me? Or, is there anything that you need from me this week? It is like,
or what do you need from me? What do you
right.
need
Like
from me?
I really don't want you to need nothing. but I'm gonna say it so that I can, put up this facade that I actually care, or, about your needs. I really don't, but I'm trying to do my own thing. But I want to make sure that I'm staying on top of that, kind of thing. Just being caring, and just caring enough. Because sometimes, like you said, a lot of people won't say anything, right? They won't speak up for themselves. I think that we need to pay attention to our partner, right? What's different about them? Is there something that seems to be troubling them, right? And stay on top of that as well. And I know we got all our other crazy stuff that's happening in life, but to be able to just stop for a second and say, you know what, how's my partner feeling?
Yeah, check in.
Yeah, is there anything that I can do for you?
You
Right.
know, I've known some people, they do that family and relationship check-in every Sunday. You know,
Yeah.
every Sunday is, you know, Sundays are generally a slower day. And that's a good day to just kind of check in with them to see, okay, well, what's happening this week? You know, are you feeling fulfilled in your roles this week? Do you need support in
Yeah.
anything this week? What's going on in your mind? You know, there are people, and I could say particularly for men, right?
Mhm.
For men in a family situation, men hardly ever get somebody to ask them, how are you doing? Right?
Yes,
Not
women have their girls to do that, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean like how you doing? Oh, I'm
Right.
fine. Not no, but tell me what's on your heart. What are you dealing with? What are you thinking about? What are you challenged with? You know, what riddle can I help you solve? What's your brain been chewing on? You know, because
Yeah.
trust me, most men, their brain is chewing on something. There's a challenge, there's an issue that they're
Mhm.
trying to work out. You know, so you know, and listen, we've been conditioned in our society for the man not to say anything,
Mm.
because if he it's saying anything comes off like whining,
Mm.
and it comes off as being effeminate. And there's nothing worse for a masculine man to be put in a position of looking weak and effeminate.
Mm. Yeah, I think that that has to change though. That thought and that mindset has to change, that a man is weak because he's saying what he feels, or he's
Mm-hmm.
taking care of his mental health, or
Mm-hmm.
he's, it's,
Mm-hmm.
we have to get out of that mindset. Um and allow men to feel so that they can be better. We always say, well, we want men to be better and we want men to change and we have to give them that space to do that,
Mm.
because if we
Right.
don't, the cycle just continues, right? They're going to teach their sons not to say anything. They're going to, teach it.
Mm-hmm.
When you open your mouth, it's not going to be good. So just bottle it up, keep it inside,
Mm.
man up, as
Mm-hmm.
they say, right? Um, and don't worry about it, right? Um, so we have a question. What are the best ways to be supportive in a relationship?
Mm.
Um, that's a really good question, because you have to, number one, asking, right? We
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. What is it that the person, what do you need from me, right? What can I
Mm-hmm.
do for you? That's the simplest way to get someone to speak up and talk to you. And on the other side of that, you have to be willing to say what it is that you need. Stop
Mm-hmm.
trying to carry the load all by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're in a team.
Yeah.
One person doesn't carry the team.
Right.
There's a
Right.
reason for that. Um, so we want to make sure that we're giving that person giving our partner what's on our mind, right? What is it that we actually need help with? Um,
You
I
know, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like I said before, actually paying attention to your partner, right? That's how you can be supportive. Sometimes even if they're reluctant,
Mm-hmm.
just go get your hair done. Go get your nails done.
Mm-hmm.
Go do something. No, I got the kids. Just go do something for yourself that's going to make you happy,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I shot a YouTube video on this, and I was talking about this idea of having the partner work in tandem with you, on the assignment, right? And so the assignment, I want you to see it as, you ever see those guys who are um, down, and they got the gun, they looking through the glass, got the target in their eye, and then they have the person standing over their back with the binoculars, right?
Mm.
Saying a little to the left, a little to the right, up, three quarters, take the shot,
Yeah.
boom,
Yeah.
right? Now, that guy had the gun. He had the magnifying glass.
Okay.
He had the target in mind. He had everything he needed, right? But this partner standing over his back gave a new view that he didn't necessarily have. Gave a new angle that he necessarily see. That person brought a new level of value to that person's life, to the shooter's life, right? Allowed him to see something that he never would have seen otherwise. And so I think that's how you support your partner. Your partner shouldn't necessarily have to tell you everything. Now, look, I'm preaching, but I'm guilty. Okay, I'm preaching, but I'm guilty. Your partner shouldn't have to tell you everything, right? You should be able to have your own set of binoculars to see what it is that your partner is desiring. If it's a man, look, listen, if it's a man, how can you help him make some more money? Now, because I don't know one man who don't want to make more money.
I don't know what woman don't want her man to make more money.
Ding, 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 ding. So let's go with that. Alasha, I love that. Now let's go with that.
I'm just saying, I don't know a woman.
So let's go with that. So then you see your rifleman, right? He's passionate about rifles. He's passionate about taking shots, and he wants the big game. So what can you do to make sure that he can get the big game?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe you might find a target practice place where he can work out and he can get better at the thing he's passionate about.
Yeah.
Maybe you might look up the trips where the big game are being shot, right? And he can go and find bigger game where he can tool out his skills, and it'll bring him more satisfaction. Maybe you might suggest to him, hey, why don't you start giving shooting lessons? You have a valuable skill, my partner. Why don't you teach other people that skill, and they're going to give you money for that skill, to teach them that skill. And then you have the basic class, and then you take them to the intermediate class, and then you take them to advanced shooting. And by then,
does that work both ways?
It absolutely works both ways.
Okay, so we always talk about it's always the big discussion of submission. Right, that's always a big discussion of I'm not submitting to them because but this is part of that. So to me, submission is all you're doing is at that moment for that thing in that time, you are allowing your partner to be great. I'll say that.
Yes.
Right, and you're assisting them in that greatness.
Yes.
No one's above anybody. No one's degrading anyone. It has nothing to do with that. It's the support that you're giving the other person and allowing them to be great. Like you don't always have to be the great one, right? If a partner is better at something, allow them to take the lead in that thing.
That's correct.
Without you feeling like, well, I'm supposed to be the one that's supposed to be the head of this, or I'm supposed to be the one that's supposed to do this, and you're supposed to follow me.
Yeah.
But if they're better at it, they're just better at it.
Yes, I agree. And again, we're talking about self-awareness, right? Knowing what you're good at and what you're not as good at. It's almost as important to know what you're not good at as it is to know what you are good at.
Yeah.
And so that person can fill in those shoes. And so look, the doorway is only so big.
Right.
Okay. And only one person can fit through it at a time.
Yeah.
So somebody's gonna have to lead and somebody's gonna have to follow.
Right.
But you gotta work that out together.
And it might be me today, and it might be you tomorrow. you have to be able to switch roles.
Alasha, you know what the problem is with that though? What
What's the
happens?
problem with that?
It's social media, right?
You
Because
think so?
I'm telling you, look, because in social media will wreck your relationship, and you could have had a certain way of doing things back at the house, but then somebody's watching social media and watching people getting Fendi bags and and people
Mm.
getting this and getting that, and then they looking at you like, well, wait a minute, how come I make more money than you, and you still don't get me no Fendi bag? Look how they got Fendi bags. Look how they taking pictures in the Bahamas. Look how they doing this and that.
Everybody want to blame social media. I don't know that it's social media in itself, even though social media is more prevalent now. But who wasn't doing that on their job? Somebody at the job, Miss Rose then got the new ring, or Miss Rose then got, something, the Fendi bag. And it's like, well, Rose got a Fendi bag from her husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always existed, but now it's on a mass scale that you don't even have to know the people. You don't even know them. All you did was just flick, and boom, there they are.
And but not realizing that Miss Rose's husband, Mr. John, cheated, or whatever the case may be, and he is making up for that, right?
He got a family on the other side of town.
Or she went out and bought that bag herself and lied and said that it was Mr. John that got, so it's like, and that social media, what you see is not necessarily what's actually happening.
That's true.
And people are only going to show you the good. They're not going to talk about how they was fighting with their partner last night.
Fact.
They're not going to talk about how they're not sleeping in the same bed.
Fact.
They're not going to do all of that. Right? Why don't we teach the children? We are expected to learn on the job, but not give much room to make the mistakes. Yeah, I believe that. And I did a post the other day that literally said, should we exchange sex education for teaching relationships? And I was very surprised that on that post, people were like, no, we don't need to teach relationships in school. But I don't understand, because you're allowing these teachers to teach sex education to your kids without teaching the relationship behind it.
Right. The thing that gets you to the sex, and then the thing that maintains the sex.
Like, you gotta have the relationship, right? Intact. I mean, I was floored. Like, I really thought that post was going to be a lot of agreements. I learned my lesson that day. Like, it's just, what people are really thinking about, and the reasons they had for not wanting it to be the other way around. Like, you're allowing the teachers to teach all types of things about their body and anatomy and, types of sexual orientations and all of those things, but you're not teaching, the relationship that goes before that.
Yeah.
They're doing this in school all day long.
Right.
But they're not doing it properly. Like, or they're not, like you said, that on the job.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying they'll just learn that.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not, because
they're gonna learn it all right, the hard way.
Correct. And then their parents are not teaching them at home because they don't know, because their relationships are not going well.
Yeah.
I was very surprised by that.
Can you imagine if somebody had taught you how to choose the right man, or how to choose the right woman, right? How to know if you're in an abusive relationship before it starts? How, like, what are the first signs that this is a bad relationship and that you should get out of it, right? There are people who would be alive today if they had taken that class.
So there was a friend in high school, And literally, if they would have had this class in school, maybe she would be alive today. She was being abused. And she would come to school with, we're like juniors or something, like sophomores or juniors. And she would come to school with broken arms. Wow. And she would come to school with, and it's like no one was really paying attention. But had we had those conversations in school about how relationships work and, you know, red flags in relationships and what abuse looks like and those types of things, maybe she would have left that relationship. Not saying that she would have, but maybe she would have had some type of chance, or she could have reached out to a teacher for help. Like, this is, you talked about this today in class, and this is what I'm experiencing. I need help. Right? Yeah, that's one of the things that I always think about when I'm talking about relationships, is that experience. That experience really changed. It's like some things make you grow up. And that's one of the things that actually made me grow up. Yeah. This was fun.
Yes, it was.
Like,
yes.
I didn't even realize that, you know, it's been over an hour. Like, this was fun. I think that I have to to bring this regularly, right?
Yes.
As one of the topics, just a coach's corner.
Yeah.
So we can come and just answer all the questions that.
Look, you didn't tell me how long we were going, so I'm like, okay.
Like, I'm in it to win it. Let me see if there's some questions here. Let's see. Jason says, honestly, we have to take control of ourselves and make the decision to teach the children. Yes, it's a generational thing. You have to be the change in your family to say, hey, I'm going to be the change. Yes, and I'm all for that. I think that the problem with that is that the adults don't know. So they don't know how to teach the children. It's not that they don't want to. It's that they're afraid of messing them up.
Sure.
And they should be. All right.
Or just you know, busy about the business of life and just like think, oh well, you know, they'll get it. And you know, yes, these kids are getting it, but they're getting a lot. And some of it ain't good.
Yeah. I learned oceanography in school, but struggle with relationships. I don't use oceanography, but need relationships in business. Yeah. So it goes beyond just personal, intimate, romantic relationships. When you're talking about how to relate to someone, I think there was a post the other day, and we were talking about reading the room and being able to say, okay, what's going on here? How do I need to act or react? You know, how do I need to move in this space? Yeah.
You know, that is look, that's so key, right? Because you would think that people got that, but you know, I don't know if Alasha, if you've seen this, but I'm noticing there are a lot more kids that are introverted. Like there are a lot less outgoing kids as there seems like there once was.
Oh yeah, we used to go outside. We couldn't come back in the house till the street lights came on, right?
Right.
These kids are in the house all day long. They playing video games. They don't want to go. No, they have no desire. To go outside.
And I mean, and just being like, there's a lot more. Seems like there's a lot more introverted, quiet, you know, reserved in their head kids than there once was. You know, and there's something to that.
But you know what's funny? When did it start? Because there are so many adults that just hibernate. Like, I try to get singles to come out to events and stuff like that. And it's like, it's very tough.
Yeah.
Because number one, they have the fear, right? Whatever they have going on inside, there's a fear there, right? Whether it's social anxiety or, you know, they're not going to meet the right person or how they look or whatever the case may be. But then you have those that are truly like, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to leave my space. Yes. Like, I know I'm going to have fun. My friends are going to be there. You know, this seems like a fun party to go to, but I just don't want to go.
Yeah. These are conversations. So we need to get into that. and
Yeah.
encourage them to get out of these shells.
Hmm.
Like the pandemic didn't do us any favors, you
No,
know.
not at all.
Uh,
It's more like they dug in, right?
yeah, yeah,
They
yes,
took their claws and they dug in.
yes. Now they have a good reason for staying
Now
in.
they have a good reason to not do it. The unfortunate reality is the generation before the adults now is that their parents didn't talk about problems. We are the generation that I guess that talks now. Yeah, I believe so too. I think a lot of things
True.
come to light now and we
Hmm.
face them
Hmm.
instead of burying them, right?
Hmm. Facts. Fact.
Um,
They used to tell you, get over there and sit down and shut up.
yeah,
Go in
yeah,
your room if you want to cry. Yeah, like I was,
yeah.
I heard my father say it many times. Like, go in your room if you want to cry. He was talking to my sister, and
Wow.
so she went in the room and cried. And then come on back out when you get yourself together.
Mm. That's a
Yes,
whole show
yes
about
it
how
is.
damaging that was,
Hmm.
right? As a child,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the effect on a male versus a female,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, which means, I'm sure he didn't mean it this way because he was a good father,
Hmm.
but it sends the message that your cries don't mean anything to me, and nobody's listening to you.
Mm.
When crying itself is an alarm that
Mm.
something is wrong. You don't cry for no reason. You're not a
Yeah,
you're not a baby. You're not 2 months old. And even a 2 month old, they have a reason for crying.
yeah.
So
Or that you must suffer in silence,
yes, you
or
must
that you
suffer.
have to go in a dark place or
Yes,
be in a dark place.
to work out
Sometimes,
the
I mean,
issue.
crying is therapeutic. So you should be able to cry at a good movie. You should be able to cry just because it's a listen, crying is a whole cleansing thing, right?
Yeah.
And we need that. And men are missing that, right? They're
Mhm.
not able to get that quick cry and quick emotion out, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that they can go ahead and face the world. They should
Fact,
be able to do that, right?
fact.
But yeah, this was awesome. This was an awesome show. So we definitely have to do this again.
I'm in. I'm
There's a
in.
chemistry here that I'm
I'm
feeling.
in.
We
I'm in.
definitely have to do this again. I thank you all for coming on and sharing your thoughts with us. Um, come on anytime. We love you out there. Let a man be a human. Let him express his emotions. Oh, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Jason, thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts. You all have a wonderful evening.
Yeah,
You
you
do
guys.
so as well, Mr. Troy. Where can we find you?
All right, you guys. You can find me on all of the platforms at Kelvin Troy Johnson, as well as Love Coach Atlanta everywhere. Love Coach Atlanta, and if there is, I'm in a good mood. I don't want to be overrun, but I'm in a good mood.
Okay.
I got 3 spaces for a session on my to if you want to do it, get a free 20-minute love coach session. If you got a situation that you need worked out, you need some ideas, I'll give you a free 20-minute session. I can only give away 3. So if you don't
Mm.
make it in, I'm sorry. So I'll go ahead and
So what he said was, where do they need to go exactly?
so look, you type we go ahead and take those off so my name comes back up.
Okay.
You can shoot me a message that says Coach's Corner.
Okay.
You can just drop the word Coach's Corner, and I'll send you the link to book your free 20-minute coaching session. So I am everywhere at Kelvin Troy Johnson, everywhere at Love Coach Atlanta. And Alasha, I got a little spot on a reality show that's coming up. I can't even tell you what the name of it is, but
Oh,
your boy out here
come
working.
on. I love to see fellow coaches doing some wonderful, wonderful things. You guys tune in next time. Don't forget, I have the love connection going on. We're going to take some couples live on the air and we're going to hook them up. We're going to hook them up.
Yes,
Be sure, I will
yes.
leave the link. Be sure to go ahead and click the link and fill out the form to see if you're compatible with any of our other singles, and we'll definitely bring you on. So Alasha Bennett on Facebook, everywhere social media. And if you go to alashabennett.com, you can read all about me. Thank you all for coming on tonight, and we'll see you again.
Peace and love.